might have heard this song before. It's called Alice's Restaurant. It's about Alice and the restaurant. But Alice's Restaurant is not the name of the restaurant, it's just the name of the song. That's why I call the song Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. I said I walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Now it all started about 45 Thanksgivings ago. It was about 45 years ago on Thanksgiving that my friend and I went up to visit Alice at the restaurant. But Alice doesn't live at the restaurant. She lives in the church nearby the restaurant, in the bell tower, with her husband Ray and Facha the dog. And living in the bell tower like that, they got a lot of room downstairs where the pews used to be in. And having all that room, seeing as how they took out all their pews, they decided that they didn't have to take out their garbage for a long time. We got up there, we found all the garbage, and we decided it'd be a friendly gesture for us to take the garbage down to the city dump. So we took the half a ton of garbage, put it in the back of a red VW microbus, took shovels and rakes and implements of destruction, and headed on toward the city dump. When we got there was a big sign and a chain across the dump saying closed for Thanksgiving, and we had never heard of a dump closed on Thanksgiving before. So with tears in our eyes, we drove off into the sunset looking for another place to put the garbage. Well, we didn't find one. Till we came to a side road, and off the side of the side road was a 15-foot cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff was another pile of garbage. And we decided one big pile was better than two little piles, and rather than bring that one up, we decided to throw ours down. That's what we did. Drove back to the church, had a Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beat, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we got a phone call from Officer Obie. Said, "Kid, we found your name on an envelope at the bottom of a half a ton of garbage, and we just wanted to know if you had any information about it." And I said, "Yes, sir, Officer Obie. I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope under that garbage." After speaking to Obie for about 45 minutes on the telephone, we finally arrived at the truth of the matter and said that we had to go down and pick up the garbage, and also had to go down and speak to him at the police officer's station. So we got in a red VW microbus with the shovels and rakes and implements of destruction and headed on toward the police officer's station. Well, we figured there was only one or two things Obie was going to do to us at the police officer station, and the first was he was going to give us a medal for being so brave and honest on the telephone, which wasn't very likely, and to tell you the truth, we didn't really expect it. And the other thing was he was going to bawl us out and tell us never to be seen driving garbage around the vicinity again, which is what we expected. But when we got to the police officer station, there was a third possibility that we hadn't even counted upon, and we was both immediately arrested, handcuffed, and I said, "Obie, I don't think I can pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on." Obie said, "Shut up, kid. Get in the back of the patrol car." And that's what we did. Sat in the back of the patrol car and drove to the, quote, scene of the crime, unquote. I want to tell you about the town of Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where this all happened. Yeah, they got 3 stop signs, 2 police officers, and 1 police car. But when we got to the scene of the crime, there was 5 police officers and 3 police cars, being the biggest crime of the last 50 years. And everybody wanted to get in a newspaper story about it. And they was using up all kinds of cop equipment that they had hanging around the police officer station. They was taking plaster, tire tracks, dog-smelling footprints. And they took 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one explaining what each one was to be used as evidence against us. Took pictures of the approach, northwest corner, the southwest corner, and that's not to mention the aerial photography. After the ordeal, we went back to the jail. Obie said he's going to put us in the cell. I said, "Kid, I'm going to put you in the cell. I want your wallet and your belt." And I said, "Obie, I can understand you want my wallet so I don't have any money to spend while I'm in the cell, but what do you want my belt for?" He said, "Kid, we don't want any hangings." I said to Obie, did you think I was gonna hang myself for littering? Obie said he was just making sure, and friends, Obie was, 'cause he took out the toilet seat so I couldn't hit myself over the head and drown, and he took out the toilet paper so I couldn't bend the bars, roll out the roll of toilet paper, slide down the roll, and have an escape. Obie was just making sure, and it was about 4 or 5 hours later that Alice, remember Alice? There's a song about Alice. Alice came by with a few nasty words to Obie on the side, bailed us out of jail. We went back to the church, had another Thanksgiving dinner that couldn't be beaten, went to sleep and didn't get up until the next morning when we all had to go to court. We walked in, sat down. Obie came in and sat down. The man walked in, said, "All rise," and we all stood up. Obie stood up with the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs, and the judge walked in with the C&I dog, and he sat down. We sat down. Obie looked at the C&I dog. Then at the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back each one, and looked at the C&I dog. Then at the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back each one, and began to cry because Obie came to the realization that it was a typical case of American blind justice, and there was nothing he could do about it, and the judge wasn't going to look at the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back each one. And, well, we were fined $50 and had to pick up the garbage in the snow, but that's not what I came to tell you about. I came to talk about the draft. They got a building down New York City where you walk in, you get injected, inspected, detected, infected, neglected, and selected. I went down to get my physical examination one morning, and I walked in, I sat down. I got good and drunk the night before, so I looked and felt my best when I went in that morning. 'Cause I want to look like, I want to be the all-American kid from New York City. I walked in, I was hung down, brung down, hung up, all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, and I walked in, I sat down. They gave me a piece of paper, said, "Kid, see the psychiatrist, room 604, and I went up there, I said, "Shrink, I want to kill. I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth, beat, dead, burnt bodies. I mean, kill." And I started jumping up and down, yelling, "Kill, kill, kill." And the sergeant came over to me and said, "Kill." He was yelling, "Kill," and we were both yelling, "Kill." Until the sergeant came over, pinned the medal on me, said, "You're our boy." I didn't feel too good about it, but I proceeded on down the hall, getting more injections, inspections, detections, neglections, and all kinds of stuff that they was doing to me at the thing there. And I was there for 2 hours, 3 hours. I was there for a long time, going through all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, and I was just having a tough time there. And they were injecting, inspecting every single part of me, and they was leaving no part untouched. When I finally came to see the very last man walked up to me and said, "Kid, have you ever been arrested?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of Alice's restaurant with full orchestration, 5-part harmony and stuff like that. And he stopped me right there and said, "Kid, did you ever go to court?" And I proceeded to tell him the story of the 27 8x10 color glossy photographs with the circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back each one. And he stopped me right there and said, "Kid, we want you to go over to that bench that says Group W. Now, kid." Now, Group W is the bench where they put you if you may not be moral enough to join the army after committing your special crime. And there was all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly-looking people there. Mother rapers, father stabbers, father rapers, father rapers sitting right there on the bench next to me, and they was mean and nasty and ugly and horrible. And the meanest, nastiest father raper of them all was coming over to Vinny and sat down next to me and said, "Kid, what'd you get?" And I said, "I didn't get nothing. I had to pay $50 and pick up the garbage." And he says, "What was you arrested for, kid?" And I said, "Littering." And they all moved away from me on the bench there, hairy eyeball me, all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly things, until I said, "Ain't creating a nuisance." And they all came back, shook my hand, and we had a great time on the bench talking about crime, mother stabbing, father raping, all kinds of groovy stuff like that. We was smoking cigarettes and all kinds of stuff. Till the sergeant came over, had some papers in his hand, held them up, said, "Kids, this piece of paper's got 47 words, 37 sentences, 58 words. We want to know the details of the crime, time of the crime, any kind of thing you guys say pertaining to and about the crime, want to arrest an officer's name, any kind of thing you guys say." And he talked for 45 minutes, and nobody understood a single word that he said, but we had fun filling out the forms and playing with the pencils on the bench there, and I filled out the massacre and wrote it down just like it happened. And everything was fine until I turned over the paper. And there on the other side, in the middle of the other side, in parentheses, capital letters, quotated, read the following words: "Kid, have you rehabilitated yourself?" I went over to the sergeant. I said, "Sergeant, you got a lot of damn gall to ask me if I rehabilitated myself. I mean, I'm just sitting here on the bench. I'm just sitting here on the Group W bench because you want to know if I'm moral enough to join the army, burn women, kids' houses, and villages after being a litter bug." He looked at me and said, "Kid, we don't like your kind. And we're going to send your fingerprints off to Washington. And friends, somewhere in Washington, enshrined in some little folder, is a study in black and white of my fingerprints. And the only reason I'm singing you this song now is because you may know somebody in a similar situation. Or you may be in a similar situation. And if you're in a situation, there's just one thing you can do. That's to walk into the shrink wherever you are. Just walk in, say, 'Shrink, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant.' I said, walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant." And walk out. Can you imagine if just one person did it? Just one person? They may think he's really sick and they wouldn't take him. And can you imagine if two people did it in harmony? Well, I don't know what the policy is now, but you tell them you ain't going. And can you imagine 50 people a day walking in singing a bar at Alice's restaurant? They may think it's a movement, and friends, that's what it is. The Alice's Restaurant Anti-Massacre movement, and all you gotta do to join is to sing it the next time it comes around on the guitar. With feeling. Here it comes. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. I said, walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. That was horrible. You want to end war and stuff, you gotta sing loud. I've been singing this song now for 20 minutes. I'm not proud or tired. So we'll wait for it to come around on the guitar again and sing it in 4-part harmony and feeling. Here it comes. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Captain Alice, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. I said, walk right in, it's around the back, just a half a mile from the railroad track. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Alice's restaurant. You waking there?